Assalamualaikum everyone. Hello, this is me, Silva Leadership Valley. I'm 10 years old. I'm from Muzaffarabad, Azad, Kashmir, Pakistan. Today we have another special guest, our 50th interviewer. Guest is with us. His name is Marc Prensky, and today I'm gonna take his interview. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me on your program. And by the way, I just learned it's your birthday. Happy birthday. 10 years old.
Thank you. Um, so would you mind introducing yourself first?
Yes, I'm Marc Prensky. I live in Palo Alto, California, USA. I'm the author of 12 books, and you can see some of the titles behind me. And I've spoken around the world in over 50 countries. And my big interest in the world is young people, all 2 billion young people in the world, and making their lives better.
That's great. So, as you have written many books, which is your favorite one?
My favorite one is always the latest one, which is called Third Millennium Kids. But it's one another favorite of mine is the one that you see down here in yellow, the Digital Natives Rising. And I want you to get that book. I will send you a link because that book is free to look at online. And I coined the term digital natives 25 years ago. And you are a digital native because you were born in the digital age. And what year were you born, Salwa?
2015.
2015. So you were not only a digital native, but you're almost an AI native because you were almost born in the time of AI. So I will recommend and I will send you the URL to my favorite book, Digital Natives Rising, and it's a book written for people your age.
I would love to read that. So all of your books that you've written are available on Amazon or any platforms?
Yes, most
Any?
of them are available on Amazon, and the Digital Native Rising is a book that is free online, so that you don't even have to buy that. You just can go, if I give you the URL, you can read it on your phone or computer.
Okay, great. So now I want to ask you some question on parenting question. So my first question is, what is the most important thing parents should teach their kids?
I think there's something more important than teaching your kids anything, and that is listening to your kids and what they have to say. There are some things we should teach early on, like don't do harm, do the most good you can and the least harm you can, and do unto other people what they would like you to do unto them. So if you meet somebody and they want something, you should do it for them. But the most important thing you can possibly do for a young person is listen carefully.
That's great. I have watched like a millions of TED Talks always saying that the kids need their parents' attraction. They need to have to talk with them, to listen with them. Some parents are their kids are young and they want their parents' intention, but they're on their phone sometimes or doing some work, and yeah, I didn't know that. But
So I have another thing for parents.
yeah, sure.
The set I have There are three altogether, so I'll tell you about all three. The second one is not just listen, but let your child do what they think they need to do, assuming that's not doesn't hurt anybody. If your child says, I want to play games, let them play games. If your child says, I want to travel, see if you can figure out how to travel. If your child says, I love animals, figure out how to connect your child to animals more. So that's number two. But here's number three, and I think you'll like this. Never say no to a child. Instead, always say yes if. So the answer to whatever you want to do is yes if you do these particular conditions. So, yes, you can travel to America if you can figure out a way to get yourself a ticket. Yes, you can meet with people around the world if you can figure out a way to get on Facebook, which you did. So the answer should always be yes if, in my opinion.
Great. And I am so grateful that I'm live and my mom is watching to say that the moment when you said that never say no to a child, I was so happy because my mom was watching as well. So thank you for that. And yeah, also I remember whenever I say my mom to do anything, sometimes she says yes, sometimes she says no. And when she says no, because on that moment she cannot do that, because if I say I'm in Pakistan, I say mom, let's go to America just right now, let's pack up our bags. So that's a little hard to do, so we have to say no sometimes. And some kids, when their parents says no, sometimes they argue with them, and like that. So I get it. When my mom says no, I said okay, and just do my own things. And when she says yes, so yes, 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 let's do it. Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, suppose your mom, and hello mother if you're listening. um, I love you very much, and I'm saying here's a different way to do it. When Salwa asks you something, say yes if, and there's always an if. So, for example, if you're busy, you can say yes if we find somebody to take my job, or if we find somebody to do something else. There's always an if, and that if needs to be negotiated with your daughter. And sometimes those conditions are so hard that you can't do it. Sometimes it's just the conditions, the if is too hard. But most of the time you can find an if that we can do. So what was the example you said that you wanted to go somewhere?
If I say my mom that I'm in Pakistan, I'm gonna say, mom, let's go to America just right now. Pack your bags and let's go. Yeah.
And the answer can be yes if we have enough money, if we have enough time, if I can find some way to get out of my other things that I'm responsible for in that period of time. Yes, if we can do all those things and everybody is happy, we can go to America. So it's not no, we can't. It's yes, we can if we do all these things. Now, that may mean we can't do it right away. We can't do it tomorrow if we're not rich and we don't have our own private plane. But that doesn't mean that the answer is no. The answer is yes if we get all these things.
Great, thank you. My mom is actually watching right now, and yeah, so I told her to watch this right now. She's saying hello too. So yeah. So my next question is, why is spending time with kids important for parents?
Well, it's important for everybody. It's important for parents and it's important for the young people because as humans, we bond and we learn from each other when we spend time with each other. And that is, we don't always, we have to try to do it. We have to do it in a good way. But it's very important when a young person is neglected by the parent, if the parent just doesn't pay attention to them, then they are deprived of that human contact that they benefit from. And so they go off and try to get the contact in a different way. They can get that contact with friends sometimes. They can get the contact with online sometimes. But the contact with a parent, if it's a good contact, and if the parent loves the kid and the kid loves the parent, that contact really builds trust and confidence and a positive attitude in the young person.
Okay, that's great to hear. So, my next question is from you that what is the best way to teach children good manners?
Well, the good manners, first of all, depend on where you are, right? So the what might be considered good manners in one place is not necessarily good manners in another place, and it's often depends on age. So let me tell a story. I have one son. His name is Sky. And when he was your age, when he was 10, around that time, now he's 20, but when he was 10, I tried to teach him as good manners when he met somebody new to look them in the eye, because that's considered good manners in America, right? You meet in person, you look them in the eye, typically you shake their hand. Hello, for the first time. Maybe it's different in Pakistan. But, and so I tried to teach him that over and over again, and he didn't do it. And first I was disappointed. Oh, he's not having good relationships because he doesn't use these manners and look people in the eye. And then I realized I was teaching him the wrong lesson, because the right lesson is when you meet an old person, look them in the eye, because that's what they expect. And young people, it turns out, or his friends, didn't expect that. They didn't want you to look them in the eye. And in some places in the world, looking people in the eye is actually considered bad. They don't want to do that. So teaching good manners is essentially controlling people. It's essentially saying, this is how we do things in our world. And if you do those things, you will be considered polite. You will be considered part of us. And there's good reason to do a lot of those things because you want to be considered polite and you want to be part of us. But if those things are not something that makes sense to you, there's no reason why you should do them. If they don't hurt, you don't do anything that hurts anybody, but do what you think is best for you.
A great story and a great answer. So, my next question is from you that how do parents help kids when they feel sad or scared or yeah.
The best way, I think, again, is to listen, because sometimes we want to help kids by talking to them, by telling them this, by this, and all they want to do is talk and have somebody who listens sympathetically, who understands. And I say that the best gift that a young person can get from an adult or from anyone else, is an adult who sees you as you see yourself. And therefore, they know how to help you. They can get inside your head how you think and what's bothering you and why it's bothering you. And then they can help you resolve it. So the most important thing is first to listen and then to try to put themselves in your shoes, in your position, and then perhaps give you some advice about what they might do if they were in your position. And it doesn't only have to be a parent, because nowadays, you know who you can ask for that kind of advice? Chat
Okay.
GPT, AI. You can have a conversation with AI, and that will be very sympathetic and understanding to you.
Okay, great. So I wanna ask now some questions on the topic education.
Please.
So my first question is, how can kids become good at learning new things?
The best way is that they want to learn them. So, what I try to get from young people, and I'll ask you questions about this later at the end if we have time, I want to know what you are really interested in learning about. What excites you? And the term I use is hell yes. What if I asked you to do something? What would you say hell yes to? I want to do that immediately. Thank you. And once we find that, then you will learn everything you have to. The problem that we have is sometimes we think you should learn new things, like you should learn math or language or science or social studies. And those things may be important to the adults, and maybe someday they'll be important for you. But if they're not important for you now, there's no reason why you should learn them, in my opinion. Focus on what you really want to learn, and then there is no problem motivating you to learn it.
Okay, so
Does
what
that make
I
sense
really
to you?
like to do,
Yeah.
yeah, it does. It does make sense, a lot of sense. So the thing, what I want to do that I'm really, I actually learned coding with AI, and I know how to do coding. So now the thing is, I want to learn Python. So if anyone says like, hey, so what do you want to do with this with Python? I'm gonna teach you this. This is gonna free and this and that. I would say, heck yeah, yeah, I want to do that because I want to learn Python.
I think that's great. But I also think that the goal should not be, I want to learn Python. The goal should be, I want to do something that I think I can do really well with Python. So there's got to be a reason why you're using Python. I want to build an app that will do this, that will help kids, that will put a smile on people's face, that will do whatever it is. And Python is a good way to do that. So that's why I'm learning Python, not because I want to learn Python, but because Python is useful for something that I want to do that will help other people in some way.
Yeah, I was also gonna say that I will make my own websites, like we could say AI, like there's Chat GPT. So I'm gonna make my own AI that will help people, but similar to that, but that AI would be my face, like I would be there and they were like talking to me as a friend. That would be a gaming thing and all that. And then I'm gonna make a website for my school, Rehan School, and my other school that I go. Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. And I think you should do that as fast as you can, and AI will help you do that a lot. But what I would like to see, just having a website, that Rehan School has a website, is not enough for me. Or it should I don't think it should be enough for you. If you make a website that when kids go to that website, they say, I want to be part of Rehan School. I want to join. And then it has a little button that says join now. And they can do that, and you can attract many more kids who are not happy with the schools they're in, but would be much happier in Rehan School. If you could create that, and that was your goal, I want to bring more kids into Rehan School. Now, I don't know if that's your goal, but suppose it were. Or you could say something else. That's why you build a website. And then the website is a good means to do that. So just building a website is a good thing, but it's not enough. What you really want to do, I think, what every kid wants to do, what every person wants to do, is help the world, make some change in the world, see something that's different in the world. And that difference could be, oh, we've got a lot more kids in Rehan School.
Okay. Yeah, just like that, it's gonna be like a Rehan School website, or yeah, there's gonna be a website, and then you're gonna enter your email, your username, your numbers to contact on. There's gonna be the principal's name, the founder's name, and then when you contacted them, then just press on join now, and then you're gonna enter in your hand school, and yeah, got all the numbers in that. So, I just want to say my next question that what should kids do when they feel tired of studying, feel really exhausting? Because I want to ask this question so much because when I do my homework, I feel exhausted. So yeah.
Well, first of all, rest is very important. So it's very important, and it makes you feel much better if you get a certain amount of sleep every night. And that is something that we often give up because we say we have to do all this work and we have to do the homework and we have to do many things and we have to do chores. Uh, but so I would say that prioritizing sleep and saying, I need figuring out for yourself, I need so many hours of sleep a night. Do you know how many hours makes you feel good when you sleep?
Maybe 12 hours.
Okay. Well, if you need 12 hours every night, then you need to figure out a way to get that. So if you want to get up at 6 in the morning, you have to go to bed at 6 at night to get 12 hours, right? You have to figure that out. But when you wake up in the morning, you should feel rested. You should feel excited. And so if you have a lot of work, you have to figure out perhaps how to do that work faster. What's the best way to do your homework faster? AI, right? To use an assistant to help you do it faster. And that doesn't mean that you don't learn anything. You have to work with it as if it's your friend and teacher. And so you learn things. But AI, what was so different in the world now, and the reason you're so lucky to be at Rehan School, I think, is that you can use AI and you can do things faster. And how much of the homework that you is the homework all from Rehan School? Is that the only school you go to?
No, I go to two schools. One is an online one, and then one is the physical one. I go from 7 to 3, and then at morning, and then at night, 9 to 11, 12.
And is your homework from the physical school
Yes, and the Rehan school also.
and the Rehan School? So we're going to have to figure out. And when I say we, it's not just you, it's you and your mom and everybody else, how you can get the homework done faster. Do you think the homework is good to do? Do you like doing the homework? Tell
Um,
me the truth.
Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. But the thing that I love to do is taking interviews because I love taking interviews, and that's the thing. If I even do, if I get a chance from my mom to do 50 interviews in only one day, believe me or not, I would do 200. I love taking interviews. So, yeah.
Well, then what I would do if you were in my school, I would say, let's do that. And let's figure out if we want you to learn some some math, you can interview somebody who knows something about math or says what questions you need to do. I would say, and you're very good at interviewing, and I'm very happy to be here being interviewed by you. So I would say, yes, do hundreds of these. Do these. These are because you get excited about it and you say, I'll do 200 of these. That is that is hard to find in a young person, to find what you're excited about. So my view is, if you're excited about that and it's a positive thing and it's helping you, that you should do as much as you feel like doing of that. So, hi, mom. That's what I would say to your mom.
Okay. Yeah, my mom is actually doing the same thing. Like if I like to do sketching and drawing and all those things, the mom said, just go and do it. It's your thing. Just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. That's the thing you like. So that's it. Then do it. You can do it. And if and I love doing coding with AI, like with ChatGPT, like to make the code and then base it. That's the thing that I love to do. And as my tasks are still finished, I still make things. So one day, tomorrow, or sorry, yesterday, maybe I went to my mom and said, Mom, my coding with AI book is finished. Now I want to make more. How could I do this? So mom says, just do whatever, just, you know, get the get another level one or check it from YouTube or AI, and then just do it. You can do it. And even when it's finished, do what the things you like I do love doing interviews. I do these interviews when I was like 4 or 5. I did my first interview when I was 4 or 5. So that's why I love interviewing and all that.
That's beautiful. And here's my suggestion: work to make every interview better than the last one. So I see this as not just doing a lot of interviews, that's one thing, but kind of a spiral where you get better and better and better. And the same thing if you do drawing. Make each one better than the one that came before in some ways. Better in your eyes, not necessarily better in anybody else's eyes. But when we finish this interview, you can go back and reflect and say, what could I have done better? What could I have done better? I do that. I hear myself. I listen to the recordings when I interview people. I say, well, I should talk less, or I shouldn't say, or I should do this kinds of things. So if you're always getting better, if you're doing a lot of the things you love and you're always getting better, that's going to be the perfect solution.
Yeah. I'm just worried about one thing. As I'm 10 now, because as I'm 10, I'm just worried about one thing. My dialogue for 1 year was, Hello everyone, I'm Salwa Leadership Wali. I'm 9 years old. I'm from Muzaffarabad, South Kashmir, Pakistan. So I don't know how to just stop the 9 and then tell 10. I don't know how to do that. It's just not stopping. I memorized the number 9 before this interview like a 50 or 100 times. To say I don't say 9 or 9, I'm gonna feel embarrassed. So I cannot stop that. How do I do that?
Well, here's a suggestion. When you go to bed, or whenever you can, or when you're walking down the street, just rehearse that in your head. Say it out loud. Say, I'm Salwa Leadership Wali, I'm 10 years old. Say, I'm Salwa Leadership Wali, I'm 10 years old. And you have to do that 500 times before it goes into your head. And once that goes into your head and replaces the other one, then it will come out very naturally. And I have one other suggestion for you, because you're talking to people like me from a different country who speak differently than you. So when you say your name, if you say I'm Salwali Shipwali and you say it fast and you say it in Pakistan, everybody understands you. But for other people, I would go more slowly. I would say, "Hi, I'm Salwa Leadership Wali," right? So that everybody will understand what you're saying. Now, if it's on screen, the name like I see it here, that there it is, that I can read it, that helps a lot too. But that's the way everybody has to do that. You have to practice. If you have to change from 9 years old to 10 years old, you have to practice it a lot. And then the more you practice it, it will become more comfortable and more natural to say that. That's my advice.
Thank you. Thank you for your suggestion. Just like that, I'm gonna say it's my test. I'm gonna memorize it, and tomorrow it's gonna be a grand test. I'm gonna write it and then give it a test. Like just like my other tests that I give, like math test, science test. This is my dialogue test. So I'm gonna memorize it after bed sometimes, and then when I'm fully done, fully prepared, yeah.
And here's another thought. This is fun for me to think because I go through this too. I used to be a musician, and I
Oh,
had to practice a lot. And it's not always fun to do the same thing over and over again. But the best way is to make it into a game. And you say, "Can I say this 10 times and not make a mistake? Can I do this, really fast and not make a mistake? Can I do it really slow and not make a mistake?" So make yourself games that will be fun for you, and that you where you want to beat yourself. You want to say, "I don't think I can do this 20 times in a row." Oh, yes, I can. Right? I won that little game that I played with myself. So that's often a good way to motivate yourself to do things and to practice things that you may not want to because they're a little bit boring to do the same thing over and over again. Just give yourself a game and a challenge.
thank you for your suggestion again. So as the time is 31 minutes, so I'm gonna ask my last question.
And then
What
do I get to
advice?
ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, sure. So my last question is, what advice would you give to young kids as me? Yeah.
My advice to young kids is to think of yourself as an empowered person who can do things. And a lot of what happens when young people grow up, and this was true for me, is that adults tell you what you should do. They feel like they want to control you. Sometimes they actually feel like they own you and they can tell you what to do. They're your boss and they can tell you what to do. And what I would say to young people is some of that may be something you need to do and you can figure that out. But try to spend your time doing more things that you want to do, that you choose to do because you love them, than you spend time doing things that other people tell you to do. And so, remember when I said don't say no to a kid? The I loved what Rehan told me, that in his school you have to say no to an adult once a day. And that's important because they don't control you 100%. You are a person, just like they are a person. And you have to be able to say no when there's something that you don't feel like you should do for a good reason, for some, because it doesn't fit you, because you're too tired, because whatever else it is. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the best thing that you've ever done in your whole life?
There are many things, but I can't think of one. Uh, it would be probably spending time with my family and friends. Yeah.
That's good. So I hope you run your life so that you spend a lot of time with your family and your friends. And that if there's something that takes you apart, you get back together as much as you can, because that's very important that you do that. Um, tell me what your dreams are. Do you have dreams of something that you would like to be or see in the world?
I wanna be a leader in the future, educate 10 million people all around the world, and make one my school
Well,
someday.
that's good. Because that's, but you can memorize that, right? I want to be a leader. I want to help 10,000 people. That's what your school trains you to do. But what does that mean to you, that I want to be a leader? What would you do if you were a leader that you don't do now? Are you a leader now? That's the first question. Are you a leader now?
I'm a mini leader. I could say that.
Okay. And what in your opinion, and I'm just interested in your opinion, What what does a good leader do? What would make you follow that leader?
A good leader never lets their team down, never lets their friends down, and always, we could say, always be with the team. Maybe, yeah.
Okay. And do you think a leader sets the direction for the team, or do you think that happens differently?
Maybe set the direction.
Yeah. So can you give me an example of where you have been a mini leader?
When my parents are not home sometimes, so I become a leader of my sisters that I take care of, my two little sisters. They are, I'm the eldest one, so I have my responsibility to take them. So in that case, I'm a leader, a mini leader, and yeah, maybe, yeah, that's it.
Well, that sounds great. Keep doing that because you know what a lot of kids say to me, uh, or I've heard from many kids when when they are talking to somebody older or when they're talking to them, they say, "You're not the boss of me," right? So, do you think being a leader is being a boss?
It's not like a boss of everyone. Like we don't have to tell what to do because the other person get exhausted. Because as I am the elder, I can feel that. To my younger sisters, when I was always telling them what to do, like pick the glass up, pick that thing, set the table, do this, do that, do this, do that. So sometimes they become exhausted. So we don't have to be all the time bossy around. We have to be a great leader that always do the right thing, not be a lot bossy. Yeah.
Good. And what do you do if you make a mistake and you don't do the right thing?
If you make a mistake, um, try again.
Yeah, and try to do it better because everybody makes mistakes. And guess what? Mistakes can often be fixed. So that's what a good leader does, I think, is when you see something that didn't work or was a mistake, you fix it. Good. Well, you're a very thoughtful person, and it's really a pleasure to talk to you, Salwa. And so here's what I offer to you. Anytime you want to talk to me, you can contact me. You know how to contact me through WhatsApp, and we can do this again. And I'd be happy to do that. And I don't know whether there is going to be in 2 weeks a meeting of young people, more or less your age, online, and it's going to happen. I figured that out. It's 10 o'clock at night. Can you attend a meeting at 10 o'clock at night on a
When
Saturday?
it is.
It will be on Saturday. The first one will be on Saturday, the 15th of of February.
Okay, I would try my best. As my exams are near, very near, they're coming. I would try my best to attend that. Yeah, sure.
Well, that'll be fun if you can, and I understand exams are pressure. Let me ask you one more thing. Do you feel that a lot of times we hear in my country that young people are are depressed and they're overstressed and their mental state is not good enough. Do you think that's true of you?
Uh, Maybe from my side, no, because in Grihan school, what we're doing is fun and crave it. And sorry, it's we're learning and having fun at the same time. There's nothing to be exhausted. All the time, we don't do serious talks. Like we are serious just for sometimes, but we are fun. We have fun. And at some moments, yeah, if we have a lot of homework, obviously, then we become a little exhausted and we have breaks and water breaks. all that. So yeah, we have fun at the same time and learn too. So
Do
no from
you
my
own?
side.
Oh, thank you. That's and I like that. Do you have your own mobile phone?
Um, I had one when I was 7. I breaked it on purpose.
You broke it. Do you want
Yeah,
another one?
I do want another one.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can do about that. Uh, so, when you had a phone, some people say that phones are what is causing the stress, that the young people shouldn't have phones because they are the cause of the kinds of stress that young people feel. So my question is this: do you think that phones are more of a stressor or more of a de-stressor, place that you go to de-stress yourself?
I don't know about this one. Maybe it's a de-stressor, but if we don't waste our times on phone, watching cartoons and videos, and Mr. Beast and things like that, we just do our work and have fun at the same time. So for us, maybe it's not.
Okay. So there you go. I thank you for that answer. Did you? I will tell you something that I did with my son when he was growing up. Have you ever watched the cartoon? Because you talked about cartoon. Have you ever watched SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yeah, I have.
And do you like it?
I don't watch it right now, but I loved it. Yeah.
And I used to watch that with my son when he was your age, or maybe earlier. And there are some very interesting lessons in that. And we still talk about those, some of those lessons. Do you remember when SpongeBob did this? Do you remember when Patrick did this? Do you remember when Squidward did this? So not all things are bad just because they're cartoons. It really depends on what they are saying to you and what lessons you can get out of them. So that's something to think about. And it really helped that we looked at those things together because we could talk about them. Do you have any last questions for me?
No. Just Rom, thank you for coming in the podcast. It was really nice talking to you, and I hope the one who are watching will. Four people are watching. I hope you will enjoy this, and people who will after watch this interview, hope you enjoyed this, and thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this interview.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you, Salwa.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Are we out?
Wait, I'm trying to. Why isn't it? I am pressing on end stream, but it's not happening. Wait.
Now I don't hear you anymore. Your mic is on mute.
There's like a problem coming. No, it's not. Huh? Um,
If it doesn't end, okay, there you go. Hi, everyone. I'm Marc Prensky. I'm the author of all these books that you see and many more. And I'd love to connect with you because I love young people. And I hope that I can talk to you as much as possible. Thank you very much.